This is a battle where I am commanding the OP as Ball's Himyar, and you'll notice that my Athar's Chosen finally are represented accurately in game thanks to Walrus Jones. They are now about the same height as a man sitting on top of a camel, which, judging by their stats, should be about right. So, I am commanding Himyar. I have a front line of 6 desert tribesmen. Decent defensive stats, a good amount of health. They are just there to soak up the damage so that the giants of Athar can close in and do the damage. Then I have 4 Almaka's Lancers, 254 charge, 324 health, 85 armor. These guys refuse to die. On the flanks I have, I have 2 armored camel warriors, 1 on each flank, and 1 slinger, 1 desert hurler. My general, he is a desert warlord. I like my melee cavalry generals. Poor Obelix is commanding the Tanukhids. He has 1 Klibonari, 1 on each flank. 1 on each side here, so he has a total of 4 Klibonari. They are backed up by Kushit Shotelai with their 20 AP swords. 40 damage, but 20 armor piercing, quite good, high melee attack. Then he has Badya skirmishers, and these guys now do a lot of damage to cavalry. 30 bonus versus large. Then he has another unit here of Badya skirmishers. 2 more Kushite Shotelai. In the center he has Mavia's Lancers, 225 charge, no defensive stats to speak of, very light, but they are also able to respond quickly and go out and stop enemy cav. Then he has a line of Tanukhid pikes. He brings 2 Tanukhid pikes, no doubt to stop my Athar's Chosen. Well, he can try anyway. So let's get the battle started. My strategy is very simple. Engage with everything I have. The desert tribesmen are meat shields, the Athar's Chosen go in to kill stuff, and the Almaka's Lancers and the camels are basically there just to tie down the cavalry of Obelix, so my giants can go in and finish off the job. So Obelix moving up here, he has a bit of skirmish, he has some desert hurlers here, 4 of those. I'm not too worried about the skirmishers, to be honest, because my cavalry has a high missile block chance. Even my lancers has a high missile block chance, and a very high armor, very high health. Should be able to tank out any amount of hurler fire. So you can see I'm already giving a few YOLO orders. I'm not too worried about the pikes either, because my desert tribesmen could do a good job against the pikes frontally. So I'm sending up my desert hurlers, rapid advance to get them into range quick. And while I do that, I'm going to send everything I have at this flank, at Obelix's flank. So Almaka's Lancers are going to go head on with Klibonari. Let's see how they do. The Klibonari get wrecked on the charge. Yeah, lost 12 men on the charge there, and same story over here. Well, actually I got wrecked there because I didn't get a proper charge, but I'm able to support with desert tribes, and now the giants come in. The giants come in and they are starting to get kills on these Klibonari. They are also getting kills on the Kushite Shotelai fairly rapidly, decapitating left and right. My hurlers in the center are doing a perfect job in just dying basically. So I'm sending in my Almaka's Lancers here to engage these Mavia's Lancers, and let's see how they do against Mavia's Lancers. Mavia's Lancers die on the charge. They are much cheaper shock cavalry, of course. So I'm overwhelming the flanks here. I can pull out my Almaka's Lancer. They didn't take too many casualties, and I'm just sending in my Athar's Chosen here head on into pikes to see how they do. And some of them actually make it through the pikes, and they start killing the pikes, which is a bit odd. I didn't give attack orders, I just ran them into the pikes, and that's what you want to do with shock infantry against pikes. And these guys have high health, so they actually managed to get into the pikes and start killing the pikes, which is quite insane. Now over here, Badya skirmishers gets engaged by desert tribes, I'm winning quite handsomely on the flanks here. The Kushite Shotilai are holding their own though. I'm leaving my cavalry engaged here for a bit longer than I need to, so I'm just avoiding his pike center here and moving around the flanks. He's basically spent the better part of his ammunition on his desert hurlers. He has some nice kills on them, but it's not going to be enough at this point. The pike line is starting to break, charging his general with my general. His general has braced though, so he's going to do a good job against my desert warlord. Desert warlord against desert warlord, something desert. He's also getting some support by the body of skirmishers, but I am a bit concerned that these guys are causing significant friendly fire as well, because they're firing from the back into these guys. Now the Kushite Shotilai killed by Athar's Chosen here. The desert tribesmen are actually losing frontally against pikes. What a shock. On the flanks over here though, the Athar's Chosen got charged by this Klebanari, winning decisively because of it. I'm able to get my armored camels into the mix, pull them out and go for a frontal charge against the Shotilai. Should do a fair amount of damage, and look at these Shotilai go. That was a great charge by the melee camels. Yeah, this unit is disorganized. It's not going to do too well now. The center is in complete disarray. The general is about to die here, getting overrun by camels. Athar's Chosen rush in to finish the job. Now it's just a matter of crashing in with everything I have here to finish off the units of Obelix. He has a body of skirmishers fighting here, losing decisively against my cavalry. I disengage to finish off this annoying unit of Kushite Shotilai. And the Klebanari are somehow still alive. Now they're going to be charged by desert tribesmen. And these guys still alive. Oh, I decide against it to get into this pike unit because the pikes weren't down. So while the pikes were moving, I just sent in this desert tribesman to chip away at the Tanukhid pikes. Getting into body of skirmishers a bit as well, which is helpful. Flanks completely overrun, killing off the final Klebanari. The Tanukhid pikes broke, 52 kills when I charged into them frontally. So pikes, not the best unit to hold the center. These javelins actually do a lot of damage to my lancers, even though I have 85 armor. That 30 bonus, together with the armor penetration, is devastating. But since these guys are charging, they get a nice bonus to their morale, and should be able to finish off body of skirmishers. Body of skirmishers have a nice bonus versus cav in melee though, so they actually were able to poke down quite a few of these camels. So over here in this messy engagement, I have a few Athar's Chosen left in the fight. The Klebanari are winning decisively against them. But mainly, over here I have so much left on the flanks that I can just send units in with reckless abandon and watch as they destroy the poor Tanukhids of Obelix. And Obelix brought a much more interesting army by far than I did. But he brought an army that is much more difficult to use against the pure rush army that I have, and especially when my pure rush army has a lot of men, a lot of high health, high armor cavalry, and dangerous shock infantry. This is a nightmare army in my opinion. I have a hard time seeing how anything can kill it with ease. So the armored camel warriors go in, try to break a few more units. I'll just fast forward because it's very clear which direction this battle is going in. Body of skirmishers get charged, they break. And that's it for the poor army of Obelix. So a Pyrrhic victory there. Using my army very recklessly. Basically all of the camel units do a good job. Some of these Athars got charged by cavalry and then they just died. But they killed a lot of cavalry. The desert tribesmen, they were just there basically. Killed a few pikes and stuff. On Obelix's side, he brings very expensive infantry that was shot down. some nice kills here. They got experience chevron, so that means they killed something important. The hurlers gets nice kills, 56, 167. The skirmishers also got some nice cavalry kills, but the cavalry was, with the exception of the cavalry that gets into infantry, the cavalry just didn't do well against my Almaka's lancers at all. So with this particular Tanukhid army, I certainly wouldn't have liked to play with this army against my army, because my army is pretty close to a nightmare army, I think. While this army is much nicer, much more balanced. A bit of skirmish, a bit of cavalry, but just worse in terms of infantry and cavalry, and that is where battles are decided in Total War Attila. Strength and honor.